for me, this gives me an extra motivation in terms of practicing every part of the game, because I know I can go and do a bit of swing speed in between. I love it, like absolutely.
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. Or like, but who doesn't like standing there and getting drive around it and as hard as they can?
I haven't been this motivated for years. This has given me an opportunity to go and win again. This is definitely going to give me more chances.
All right, you're with Al, and this is Chronicles of a Not Yet Champion Golfer. So we've got another episode of Down the Line this week. Down the Line, if you're new to the channel, by the way, it's a series I've done with Paul Waring, aka The Biff, where we talk about pretty much anything to do with golf. And recently, on a daily basis, we've been speaking about swing speed, and that's made up most of our practice during lockdown. Paul's been on Twitter. You see quite a few of his swings on there. He's been sending me them. I think he's pretty much perfected the shuffle, 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 smash technique now. Yeah, fair play, he's smashing it. And if you watch to the end of the video, I'll show you a couple of things that I've been doing in my garage to try and get that speed up as well. I have done a series before on swing speed. I'll put a link to that up there. That's on a playlist as well. But this conversation is all about taking it to the next level. What we're trying to do in terms of our own targets, ways to build swing speed that anyone can do, and how it's changing the game as well. So we'll get on with absolutely smashing it, or at least talking about it. Let me know if you enjoy it in the comments below, and I'll see you at the end.
We've had some quite good discussions, haven't we, and thoughts on how we're going to be able to get to the speeds we want to get to. I mean, my last one was 120, wasn't it? Which I think, to be honest, now I'd like to up that to 125.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that's doable because, like you're saying about my stuff at the moment. Okay, I've had my back's only just kind of got better, but even last month I was only swinging it like 116, 117. I don't know if you've been following on Twitter, but like I went to 123 and 126, and now I've just got it up to 128. So if I can get it to 128 from 117, 118. You 100% can get you to 125. 100%.
128 is serious speed, isn't it? Massive gains in the space of what, 2 weeks?
2-3 weeks, really. There's definitely a technique to it. Like, I think a lot of people just think you can just stand there and just smash it, get stronger and smash it. There's definitely a technique. And I think that's one of the big things that you see from some of the young lads now, like Wilco Neba and like Cam Champ and those guys, Cam Champ in the States.
Someone's walking back to the house.
Unbelievable.
Well, I'm on here. Paddy, I'm on here.
Shut up, Paddy.
Paddy. Mate, this is what happens until someone disappears behind the hedge. This is it now. Just bear with us. Pad, swing speed, mate. That's good, isn't it? Paddy. Right. What are you doing? Say sorry.
I'm such a knobhead. Paddy, why are you being a knobhead?
Say sorry. Yeah, you were looking at the young lads, Wilco Ninabar and Cameron Champ.
Cam Champ. And there's a few of them. They're not, when you look at them, don't get me wrong, they're strong lads, but I don't think they're standing there trying to hit it at 130. I think they just do it.
Yeah.
Because the technique's so good.
It's certainly going to your golf swing. You've always had massive control over it, like in terms of consistency of your numbers of path, club face have been so consistent over the years. And you were always long. At a certain point, you were always long, but I think that's probably changed a bit now. And you've said yourself that you're actually not long anymore.
No, I'm distinctly average right now. Like, if not, yeah, almost like just below average, I'd say. Looking at it, the big thing, like everyone's banging on about Bryson at the moment, aren't they? And if you look at it, right. So how many hours would it take? So statistically, of the best players in the world with a 7-iron in the hand, they're all very similar proximity. They're all very good at that. And when the day comes, they're just really good at the proximity's better, and they hold a few putts, and that's why they go and win. That's what breaks out that sort of top 10 players at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good that group is at 7-iron. If one of them's hitting 9-iron, they're going to hit it closer statistically.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to actually hit it further off the tee, so you've got less club in your hand going into the green.
Yeah, and
without getting any better with the irons, you are physically, statistically going to hit it closer.
Yeah, as long as you can keep it stable and keep it straight. And I think
if you can keep it in the fairway, yeah,
that's the biggest thing. People start smashing it, start spraying it. It's pointless, like completely pointless. Bryson,
absolutely. Say again.
Bryson doesn't spray it.
No, he doesn't. And everyone's going, oh, look at him at the Masters, look at him at the Masters. It's like, yeah, look at him at the Masters. He was terrible. He was awful. Still made cut, still finished 30th.
Yeah.
And he was probably the worst he's played this season.
Yeah, and that's a bad week for him. And I think, again, we spoke about it just before, and we're talking about how certain things happen within certain sports every generation that sort of, it's a mentality, it's a mad mentality of humans that go, oh, actually, you can do that. And I think it's very much like the 4-minute mile. Till Roger Bannister run that 4-minute mile, good knowledge, that good sports knowledge now, and just
some boy.
Is his name Roger? It is, isn't it? Roger Bannister. I hope so, otherwise I look stupid now. But until he run the 4-minute mile, it was impossible. He ran it, and then I was like, right, that can be done. And I think with golf, that's kind of what's happened. Bryson's gone out and done it. Cameron Champ come out. I mean, Cameron Champ was probably, you know, he was one of the ones that come out, not the first one to hit it that far, but get into those numbers and compete. And people are going, oh, hold on, you can do that and you can compete that way. Why can't I? Why can't you do that? And I think that's what's kind of changed the game. And I do think the game's changed for that reason.
Don't get me wrong. You look at Tiger with his iron play and his proximity to the hole and all that sort of stuff. And when he first came out, he was head and shoulders, but also he was hitting it further than everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, the old school Tiger line and all that sort of stuff. He was just hitting it further, and his proximity was amazing. Now, you can't have that bigger gains within the proximity side of things. It's just impossible. You're going to have 0.5% here and there. That's all you're going to have. Where the swing speed stuff and the distance stuff, like we're talking about two guys, Cam Champ and Wilco at 130. Bryson, what, 140 was he swinging it in practice or something?
Yeah, when he's inside.
But the long drive guys are still at 150.
Yeah.
And over 150. So there's still a massive gap there. Even for me at 128, there's still 22 mile an hour I've got to find to get into the long drives, you know, the long drive stuff. So everyone's talking about Bryson leading the way. It's almost like you say about the running stuff, the 4-minute mile. It's like the sub 10-second 100-meter sprint. Like 150 is the 9.8 or 9.9 100-meter sprint. The 130s we're swinging at is actually equivalent to like 12 or 13 second. There's still a massive void. So, and again, you go back to the, you know, fix the golf ball, fix this, fix that. Doesn't matter, because in 5 years' time, we're all going to be swinging at 130. Because I remember 5 years ago, 120 and 180 ball speed was a number.
Yeah.
Guess what? 5 years' time, 130 is going to be the number. Another 5 years' time, 135, 140, and it's going to go, and it's just going to go and go and go and go. Because the limit those long drive boys are at 150, 155, they're going to get to 160. Yeah, and our gap's going to close.
Yeah, 100%.
So what we're going to end up with? We're going to end up with a golf ball that's going to have to go half the distance.
Yeah, the bar keeps changing. It's just a different game, isn't it? And when we're talking, so we'll get on to like a personal level here with me and you and swing speed. And it's not a case of you're not stood there going, right, I want to swing at 130 mile an hour, 125, whatever it might be, because I want to get on the first tee and swing at 130 mile an hour. It's not. Like, that's not the thing. And I think that's for everyone why this is applicable, because you want to be able to swing it as fast as you can and keep up in that number, so that actually when you get on the golf course, your comfortable swing goes 15 yards further than your old fast swing, basically.
Yeah.
Because you basically, like, your 1 rep max means you can actually lift heavier at more reps. Same with the swing, you can actually swing it and hit it 15 yards further, but you're still keeping it straight because you're under control, and that's where you've got to up your maximum to bring.
So basically, what you're saying is, by upping your max, and you'll say your max was 120 and your cruise was 115, all of a sudden your max goes to 122, 123. Your cruise then is at 119, 120. Yeah. It's not a case that you stand up there trying to hit it at 123, 124 all the time. It's just that your fairway finder becomes 120.
I love it.
But that's it. Because like a couple of weeks ago when my back was just getting better, I did a little bit of it and I was swinging at 116, 117 in my net, and I could get it to about 119.
Yeah.
So it just shows that now, like, I'm stepping in there, and within 2 balls now, I can get to 121 within 2 balls, and then it will take me 20 balls or so, maybe a little bit more, to get into that 125, 26, 27 area. But I can do it. It's like you said about the 1 rep max stuff. It's like going to the gym and being able to lift 100 kilos once. Well, if you can build that up and lift 150 kilos once, you can lift 100 kilos 10 times.
Yeah.
It's increasing your capacity to be able to do it. And people are like, oh, you're going to get injured, or you're going to hurt yourself and all that. This is the absolute opposite of it, because I'm not trying to search for 120 on the golf course, because my buffer, my limit is so much higher than 120 on the golf course. So I can swing it at 120 all day long because I can swing it at 128.
That's what we're talking about. It's that up in, you've got to get used to doing it. And I think this is the thing where there is a lot of training, and we'll get into that, the training side of things, and so much technique. But a lot of it is about being used to being able to swing it at that, and your body's comfortable at swinging at that speed. You can definitely swing it faster without the ball there than you can when it is there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, it's a mentality, innit? It's not a physical thing. You can physically swing it that hard. You've done it in practice swing.
I actually texted Lee Grumble home the other night about it, and I just dead briefly, I was just saying, there's definitely a little thing in your brain that you've got to let go. You've definitely got to. I'm not going to start singing the song, but you've got to let it go.
I'm singing it.
No, absolutely not. I refuse to sing Frozen. No, get off.
I like that song. I do actually like that song. Yeah, you're right. It is. There's something in there that's. I don't know what it is.
I don't know if it's a self-preservation thing or something, but there's something within your body that won't let physically, but mentally won't let you let go that much. And it's only until you start getting into those realms of those numbers that the physicality of it, like some of the real fast swings I'm making, don't feel that fast, and I'm not trying as hard. And that sounds mad, but I'm not braced, and I'm not physically trying to hit it miles. It's almost like the speed builds, and it comes from just letting the body move.
Result getting your body ready to do it, isn't it? And that's we'll get into that now, into the overspeed training, which is something I've started doing since this lockdown. I really wanted to try and up that, and mate, I'm going to be so disappointed if when I can go to yours and it balls on the TrackMan inside, if it says it's 110 mile an hour. I'm putting the clubs away. Honestly, I'm not doing it, because I feel like I've got so much faster from overspeed training. Now, it's not hitting balls, and that's the only thing, is I haven't put it into actually hitting balls outside and seeing what it's doing. It's literally just building speed. And then I think the important thing, if you're training this, is to carry on with your swing, your normal swing stuff, to keep the technique there, and then just let it go when you're doing your overspeed stuff. But that's what overspeed training is about, is training your body to go actually faster than it's going to go.
Yeah.
Actually faster than what you're going to do on the golf course. And that's certainly one technique that I think has, we'll wait and see until we can get that video filmed where we know how fast I'm swinging it. But I certainly feel like I'm much faster than I was. From your point of view, something that I want people to get out of, the technical side of it. What do you feel like in your golf swing to go from 118 to 128, which is a massive, massive difference? Let me just get on, because you sent me the video. Well, there's a swing that he did.
Been a prodigy.
So it doesn't look, if you look at it again, it looks fast. But it's not like, I bet it felt faster than what it looks.
Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. that's how you know there's more there. And like I look at the technique side of that as well, and there's still loads in the tank from a technical point of view. There's still things I'm just not doing that I just can't quite. And I think someone made a point like on Twitter or something, like looking at dispersion. It's like, yeah, some of the dispersion's everywhere, but that's physically because I'm trying to physically train in some certain little moves here and there to try and get better. So I'm going to hit it everywhere. And then the ones that I'm standing there and hitting, it's mad, you know, the club staying, well, don't get me wrong, I'm indoor, but the club path and face is staying unbelievably stable. It's just staying 2 up the right, you know, 4 degrees sort of angle attack positive. And then literally everything's, the face is hardly flipping on it. So it means I can keep swinging it this hard because the actual head is staying unbelievably stable as well. So when I'm going at it, it's not going off the planet, to be fair.
Well, I think that's one thing, and I did it when I was in one of the swing speed series I did, and I'll link it here somewhere. When I did it in Dubai, and I was on the range, and I was hitting as hard as I could. This was when I was trying to get to 120, and I was swinging at about 119, and I was out my boots. But every one was like a high draw, like it was absolute filth ball flight. I was like, that's amazing. Just do that every time. And people associate swinging fast and hitting it hard with hitting it all over the shop. When that comes dangerous is when you're swinging it fast and hitting it hard and you don't let it go. It's when you feel it all over the shop and you back up and then it wings everywhere. So if you're hitting it that hard, you've got to be free and you've got to have that mentality where you can commit to it. So it's as much a mental side as it is a physical side. But technically, if you could, you know, a couple of points, and I've got a couple of ideas on this myself, but a couple of points where you think technically that people could go and gain speed quickly, what would you say? I mean, initially, the main thing with distance and speed is ball speed. So improving your strike straight away would be one that's going to be able to further. But what would you say is something that you have done got you to that 128? What did you do?
Well, just dead quickly back on the ball speed. That's why I like looking at ball speed. Is it still remains a skill. It still remains you have to strike it good to get the ball speed up. You can't just swing it at 128 and have a 150-mile-an-hour ball because you missed it. It's just pointless. That's why I really like to look at ball speed, because the skill remains of being able to swing it that fast and strike it. But yeah, some of the technical stuff for me, it's my hips. I'm finding the more my hips open, and you know, you look at some of the long drive stuff, and I've been researching this quite a bit over the last few weeks and months. Really, is they do certain things, and you think then, oh, that's what I need to do. So you look at the left heel coming off the floor and all that. Like, oh, I'll get my left heel off the floor. But their left heel comes off the floor because of something else. They don't just lift the heel for the sake of doing it. Their heel comes off the deck because their hips rotate almost to 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Their hips open up that much that their left heel has to come off the floor.
Yeah.
And then there's actually quite a big overswing. Now, like I just said, if your hips are opening that much, it actually takes a lot of lower strain off your back. And then on the way down, you'll see it on some of the videos, you know, that I've sent you and stuff. My left leg, it doesn't straighten. So everyone's saying, oh, you need to jump. You know, you hear this thing, you need to jump. And you do, but the long drive guys don't jump for jumping's sake. They jump as a byproduct of the speed and power going through the floor. They put so much force into the floor that actually forces them back off it. They don't just merely jump off it. They're literally pushing into the floor that hard in that left leg that it pops up and backwards. And that's the thing for me. If you look at some of those videos, and this is why I'm saying I've still got a load more speed to come yet, because that left leg a lot of the time doesn't even straighten out properly yet. Never mind pushing to the floor hard enough to get me to pop off it.
On that point, I know we joke and stuff, and you have had injuries in the past. You feel like when you're doing that, because if you said to me, oh, I'm going to go and swing at 128, and I'm like, you just had a bad back, you'd be a bit, you feel like completely free doing that, like not a problem.
Mate, the other side of it, a lot of my back injury hasn't been caused by golf. It's not a golf injury. It's just I've got a bad back. So I need to strengthen it up and do all these sort of things. You know, it wasn't like that, if you know what I mean. So if you look at, people looking at like sort of the resisted lower half, aren't they, of players, and there's a bit of a correlation now between resisted lower half golfers and back injuries. And I'm using as an example, I'm not 100% sure of this, but someone like Jason Day, his hips hardly move. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he suffers massively with lower back. Yeah, you look at someone like Bubba Watson, where his feet go everywhere and the hips move everywhere, and he swings at it high 120s, never injured.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be something definitely in that lower half sort of movement, especially for me, especially from an injury point of view as well.
I watched Lee Cox, and they did like a Facebook Live, and he was talking about Bubba specifically and how much his feet work forward and back, and not afraid to let his hips rotate. And Justin Thomas is very much the same. He's off the floor through the ball, isn't he?
I think it was actually Lee Cox who said another thing, and this is one me and you've talked about massively, and this is the thing that's changed it for me a lot, is the speed of backswing. And what was the equation? Because you came up with you found the equation. What was the equation?
I think, and again, this is Lee Cox saying it, and it was something like, I think it's 3 times. So whatever speed your backswing is, you follow. It's not going to be obviously exact, but 3 times the speed on the way through.
Right.
Now,
okay.
Most people would go it back slow, sort of a ratio of 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's not going to do it.
And this, I tested this out. I say tested it out, but just from a feeling point of view with the super speed sticks, and you feel faster doing it. And then I know you tried it with driver, and you said again it felt faster. But I filmed a couple, and it actually doesn't look that stupid as it feels. Like it's fine. I think there's so many ways we could speak about this all day on ways to get longer. And this is I'd done before we did the last swing speed stuff, I did a lot of technique stuff and felt really good, but none of it was really, I never felt like I made that breakthrough in terms of speed. Technical stuff I felt like I did, but I think technique has got to be right, because I feel personally now I'm technically better to put myself in a position to be able to swing it faster. Swing it fast whilst doing technique at the same time is like, it's hard.
You can't do it.
It
comes back to that letting go. Like you can't think. I don't get me wrong, I know I'm saying there's a technique to it and I need to feel this, that and the other, but the rudimentary feels, the quite basic feels, I'm not thinking about where the club's going and all that. I'm thinking about the body rotating at speed on the way back and then using that properly on the way down. I think a lot of this is a lot more in the backswing than the actual downswing.
Yeah.
The more I'm reading, the more I'm learning, the quicker and longer. Because the other side of it, you can't go quick in the way back and not complete your backswing, because then you lose speed. It's got to be quick and long and then hit it.
In terms of improvement-wise, that people could go down, do you think it's just specific to playing on tour, or do you think people would be better? You're at your single-figure handicapper, your scratch golfer, or your 15-20 handicapper. Do you think they're going to be better going down that route? Do you think they'd actually benefit from it? Or do you think it's just really a tour thing and it's what a lot of the lads doing, and it can be not dangerous, but almost a little bit detrimental to what some players might think of going to go out and try and hit it as hard as they can if their technique isn't quite there, because that's when you're going to start.
That's when you start hurting yourself and stuff. I think if anyone's going to start trying to gain length, you need to understand your subject. So you need to either go and get a lesson, speak to someone who knows what they're talking about, do a load of research, watch a load of videos, and start to understand the subject. You can't just go, I'm just going to lash at it, because that's you just can't do that. And like you say, you're probably going to hurt yourself doing that. And I think a few people on Twitter are saying it to me, worried that I'm just lashing at it. It's not. It's completely different. It's a form of training. This isn't the golf side of training. This is me lifting weights effectively. To make the biggest impact into your golf game, you've got to hit it close to the flag. So you've got to go score based. So it's always about the score. That's what golf is always about. 63 beats 64. That's it in a nutshell. Doesn't matter how it looks. That's the game of golf. Now, if you wind it all back, what you got to do? Well, you got to hit it as close to the flag, because that makes putting easier. Because statistically, if you're close to the flag, you've got a better chance of holding the putt. Well, how do you hit it close to the flag? Well, if I can go in with 9-iron over 7-iron, statistically, I should hit it close to the flag.
Everyone
so off the tee, I've got to hit it further. So I'm going into that hole that I've always gone in with 7-iron. Now I'm going in with 9-iron. You work backwards away from it, and this is the thing that I've maybe just got my head around. Maybe because of Bryson, fine, but for me to make big gains in my wedge play, in my proximity from 150 in, I could probably go at it till I'm blue in the face and I'd be a percentage better. And that percentage better might make me top 10 in the world at proximity from 120 yards, which, brilliant. But the fact that I've just gained 10 mile an hour in 3 weeks.
Madness, isn't it? And you say,
and now I'm flying. Now I can physically. There's a couple flying there. I'm flying a few there at 345, 350 yards. I'm flying it 340 yards, 350 yards now. Flying it.
Madness.
It's just crazy. So now I'm not going. So that's 50 yards in the air with a little bit of run. So say I was hitting, a good one would go 310 before. Now this is going 360 once it hits the floor. There's 50 yards of difference. That's 4 clubs.
Yeah.
Three or 4 clubs.
Yeah.
So now it's 7-iron to wedge. So if my golf game doesn't change, if my iron play doesn't get any better, I am going to be so much footage closer to the hole more times and give myself more chances of doing well. Now, don't get me wrong. I know I'm saying I can fly at 340, 350 after on the simulator. I'm not going to be doing that on a golf course, but my, where I'm hitting it to, 295 in the air, 300 is going to 310. I'm going to be pitching it at 310. It's going to be running out to 330. So I'm going to give myself a club or 2 into every hole.
Well, even if it's this, and this is where it's a different sort of dimension to it, it becomes a bit of a golf like course management type thing. Even if it becomes like 3 or 4 holes where you pick and choose and you say, right, this one I'm going to get it in play, but you're still going to be flying at 310 because you're swinging it in play at 122 instead of 150.
Yeah. And
then you get on a couple of holes and you go, right, this one, whatever it might be, there's a trap at 325 on a par 5 or whatever it might be. There's 3 or 4 holes where you can go, right, this one I'm going to go at it. I'm going to gain that extra, let's say 30 yards instead of 50. Yeah. 3 clubs, 3 holes. That's probably going to make, you would think it's going to make a shot difference in the round, really.
Yeah. Well, there's a shot. Yeah. So over 4 rounds, there's 4 shots better.
And that's, it's not like saying every hole you're going to make a shot up, because you're not, most of the time, if you've got a 9-iron in or a 7-iron in, which is most of the time, you're going to make par with both most of the time. But if you've got more 9-irons in, the average is you're going to make a birdie with one of them more than you are with a 7-iron. Over 4 rounds, it's massive.
Mate, even if it only gives me half a shot per round, that's 2 shots over a tournament.
Yeah, it's huge. And that's where it could be where the difference of the best in the world are in terms of the top players, and what you see now. I know you can compete without being that long. Like there's players up there certainly that prove that. But when you look at the top lads and their phenomenal short game, like the lads that are up there and don't hit it as far, their short games are a joke. Like their pitching, distance control, they very rarely miss fairways. Everything is so sharp. But the lads that are the very best in the world are that, plus they hit it miles.
I think one of the biggest stats was it's usually the best putter of the longest hitters that do the best. Which
look how good he is at putting now.
Yeah, well, look at Bryson. DJ running away with it, he put it great, and he's still, and he's not talked about as much anymore. DJ, he is so long, so long. It's it miles with a little baby cut.
Yeah,
but again, he can swing it at 126, 127 if he wants. But he said baby cut at 122. Hits it in play all the time at 320.
I don't think he missed one at the Masters. Literally, that last round, can't remember missing the fairway. It's ridiculous.
It's just, there's something in it massively, and I think that end of the bag with the driver and the other end of the bag with becoming just a bit better with the putter. You could just go and you could go silly, and you look at what Bryson's done since we'll call it his transformation. He's a major winner now. He came back out. I don't think he was outside the top 5 for the first 10 weeks or something.
Ridiculous, yeah. For me, this gives me an extra motivation in terms of practicing every part of the game, because I know I can go and do a bit of swing speed in between. I love it, like absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, but who doesn't like standing there and getting drive around it and as hard as they can? Like,
but it's like I actually put one of the tweets. Thanks to Bryson making golf fun again. Like, I haven't been this motivated for years. This has given me an opportunity to go and win again. This is definitely going to give me more chances and make it fun again and be involved and all that sort of stuff.
A measurable thing that you can actually see progress in, and that's something we bang on about it all the time in practice when we do videos practicing or playing, whatever it is. Keeping the record so that you can actually see improvement, and not just in improvement in it further. The effect that's going to have on scores is massive. But from your point of view and my point of view, competing, PGA level at the moment and whatever it is, you've got to do it, because otherwise you're left behind, because everyone's going to do it.
Yeah, you are just going to get left behind soon, because like I said, 120 was the number a couple of years ago. Now it's 130. That's it. It's going to be 130, 190 mile an hour ball speed. They're going to be the numbers, where at the moment it's 120 and 180. That'll disappear within a season. So if you imagine the best putters in the world, they'll usually be tour players, but there'll be some good, amateurs tour, but the difference between, the good putters isn't that big. The difference between the proximity with the iron players isn't that big. The difference from tour player long drive to a long drive champion is a gulf. It is massive. And that's a gulf that can be filled with technique and training. And everyone's looking for, the little gains here and there. That's a massive gain. Massive gain.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still got to keep it on the golf course. But again, like I say, if your threshold for the upper levels of speed increase, then your ability to swing, your cruise fairway finder, that doesn't stay at that lower level. That comes up with it.
So in short, just absolutely smash it. I said I'd tell you what I've been doing here so that I can do just that, really. Super speed sticks. There should be a green one here. Green one's the lightest one, blue's the middle, red's the heaviest. And it's overspeed training, so you're trying to swing each of these clubs as fast as physically possible. And like we said in the video, if you can do that, build that speed up, then your normal swing on the course becomes faster than it was, because your maximum speed, which comes from your overspeed training with these, is obviously quicker. But the most important factor in this for me, Bosch. Swing speed radar. This will give me a base number that I swing these sticks at, that I can then work from. There's nothing better than seeing yourself get better, and that's what that tells me. So I'm gonna make a couple of swings now. Oh, 27. Come on. 23 tells me what I'm swinging at. It doesn't matter how fast your waggle is. 127. 127 again, come on. 127, come on. 131, 131. So if that was my fastest of the day, I can't speak now, I'm out of breath. So if that was my fastest of the day, I'd write that down, come back tomorrow, try and beat it, keep a record, progress report. It's also good for other things as well, this. 23, I can get faster than that. 25, 25. So if I don't get my swing speed up, I'll be really good at the 4 meter dash. So let me know in the comments if you're gonna do some swing speed stuff yourself. Let me know what you're doing. Any questions, fire them over. I'm gonna get my breath back. Thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday. I'll see you down the line.